We all know as Phillies fans that supporting this team's kind of a roller coaster, but we kind of thought that was a figure of speech, Marshall. Our results this year are telling a different story. I'll take you series by series. We lose the Rangers. Mm-hmm. We win the Nats.
Yeah.
We win the Rockies series. We lose the Giants series. We lose the D-backs series. We've won the first game of the Cubs series, so maybe, but you get the idea.
Yeah, after all those up and downs, we sit at 500 right now. We're going to break down what's going well, what's not going so great, and what we need to do to put some more wins together and get above that 500 mark. Plus, we have a very special draft edition of the podcast tonight. Stick around for all of our favorite highs and very, very, very low draft selections and draft classes for the Eagles for the love of Broad Street.
Broad Street, welcome back to the show. I'm Jake, that's Marshall. So far, Marsh, the word to sum up the Philly season that I'd use is fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. We're mid-pack in hitting. We're mid-pack in pitching. And as you've said, we are exactly 500 on the year. We're fine.
But the individual performances, Jake, aren't really average. It's more like we have a group of haves and have-nots. We have a bunch of guys who are performing pretty well and doing their job, and then a bunch of guys who have just been nowhere to be found.
Sure aren't. Yeah. So let's start with the haves. So like the ultimate have on the Phillies is Christopher Sanchez, who looks like he hasn't missed one step.
Yeah.
Tied for the league lead in strikeouts. His whip is at 1.39, which that's probably not sustainable, but that's a silly number that I wanted to throw out because that is insane. And then the other guy who you were pretty sure was going to, deliver the goods is Duran, tied for the league lead in saves. He's 5 for 5 with a 1.35 ERA. And the only time he's really gotten into trouble this year was that one appearance when it wasn't a save situation. Right. It was a tie game, and he, it's not a blown save because it wasn't a save situation, but that one scenario, that's the only time he's really not let us down so far.
Yeah, he's capitalized when he's had the opportunities. And another guy who's been capitalizing, especially the most recent game as of recording with the Cubs, was Kyle Schwarber, tied for second in the league in home runs right now with 6-2 against the Cubbies. Yeah. Another one. He just loves hitting home runs in the first inning, doesn't he, Jake?
Sure does. I don't know what it is about him. Like, he's not a prototypical, 1-2 hitter, but he just loves hitting there for some reason. And he did it again last night.
Yeah. Over 400 on base percentage right now. That's pretty impressive. OPS over 1,000 too.
That's like a video game number, by the way. That's crazy. We have to couch it. It's early in the season. Like, these numbers will probably come down. But the best thing you can hope for from Schwarber, because he's going to strike out. He struck out a fair bit already. But he also walks a lot, which I know he's not blindingly quick, but an OBP over 400, you'll take that all day.
Absolutely.
And the funny part is, when it's not a walk, it's usually a home run. Like, this dude doesn't really hit singles.
No.
So, he's one of the league leaders in runs also, which is funny because it's not like he's using his speed on the base pass. He's just knocking himself in because he hits the ball over the wall so much.
Yep.
And I want to bring up too along that same vein as Bryce Harper, because we kind of trashed him on the first episode of the.
It wasn't
Phillies.
Just kind of a trashing, Jake. We totally trashed him.
True. Well, but it was warranted. He was 1 for 14 or something. And he was hitting under 100. And then I honestly, I think it was the game that night that we did the podcast.
Yeah.
He's like, I heard them. Screw you guys. And
Turn
then,
it on.
Went crazy. I think he went 3 for 4 that night. But after that horrible start, his numbers look solid, not amazing. But when you consider the start, they are amazing. Because
they are trending.
He's up to 276. He's up to 10 RBIs. And that was after nothing for the first 2 series. So really, really positive signs from the guy that, you kind of figured was going to come around, but, it's probably happening quicker than we thought.
I think so too. And, you like the way that he's swinging the bat right now. He's being aggressive. He looks like the Bryce of old in a way. It's just, he seems comfortable in that batter's box right now. It felt like at times last year, He was kind of trying to force the issue a little too much.
Yeah.
Really hacking at the ball too hard. Right now, he's just trying to make solid contact, and it's working for him. You know what else is working, Jake? The bottom of this lineup is
Oh, I
hitting
love that.
very, very well. Marsh at 304 and Justin Crawford at 306, Jake, the Rook.
That might be the surprise of the year, not just for the Phillies, but for the entire league. Like he as of last night, he was eighth in hitting in the league.
Yeah.
Not for rookies, like
Crazy.
just the league. He's number one for rookies.
Yeah.
Again, we called him up just saying like, hey, play good defense, get on base a little bit. And the dude's one of our best hitters. And I wonder, here's the question, Mark. How long does Topper leave the lineup as it is?
Mm-hmm.
Because you got two of your best horses right now hitting like 7 and 9.
7, 8, yeah, 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, at some point, especially with Crawford, with his speed and how dynamic he can be on the base path.
Yeah.
Put him up higher. Why are you? Don't leave him at 9.
Right.
You don't want to put too much pressure on him by moving him too far. Like, don't put him at 1.
Right.
But 6, 5,
6,
even,
5,
maybe,
yeah,
right?
maybe.
Like, why not?
I mean, a guy like that, you want his speed closer to the top. I mean, a guy like that gets a walk and gets on base, and now we're off to the races. But I think it's working like that to an extent, Jake, because he's coming in that 9 hole. Maybe that's what Topper is thinking. It's okay. Justin Crawford gets on base, we're back to the top of the lineup again. So it operates the same way, in a sense. But he's. If he keeps putting up these numbers, to your point, I don't know how you couldn't make an adjustment. Marsh included. I still think Marsh has been the most consistent, and not just because he shares my name, but he's been the most consistent Philly hitter really for the course of the last 2 years. He's just so solid, comes up in big spots, and you can always count on some RBIs from him too. He's knocked some guys in. That 13-run performance the other night was, I thought, a very, very positive sign for the Phillies.
Yeah, and it was something we needed too, because before at that point we were pretty lackluster offensively, honestly. You always kind of wait for like when the weather starts to warm up and there's that spark. Hopefully that was it. You don't really know until you get more games under your belt, but hopefully that's coming. Also, shout out to the PSAC guy, Tim Meza, Millersville man. I was kind of like, oh, Tim Meza, whatever. And then he goes 8 2/3 scoreless so
Crazy.
far. And of all the guys in this bullpen that I was like, oh, they're going to deliver, Tim Meza was not that guy.
Mm-mm.
But, let's just get right into it now. Why put off the sour end of this equation? The rest of the bullpen, minus, Durant and Tim Meza, are kind of atrocious.
Really bad.
Alvarado is actually awful so far this year. 12.6 ERA.
Yeah.
And then Keller, who was this, highly paid, highly touted arm that we brought in this offseason, has an ERA over 5. So he's had his last performance was pretty good, which was a good sign. But other than that last performance, he's been kind of crap. And we had all these pieces in the bullpen. We moved Matt Strom, brought in Keller. You're thinking that's an upgrade.
Right.
And so far, the bullpen as a unit is at 4.3. And that's including, Duran, whose, ERA is 1.3, and Tim Meza, whose ERA is 0. None.
Zip.
Nothing. So, when you factor those two guys into a bullpen that as a unit is at over 4, that's a big problem.
It is a big problem.
You're not going to win a lot of games with a bullpen that's that unreliable, especially when, as we said, it's not like we were swinging the bats amazingly.
Right. And last night it felt like, okay, the Phils are in the driver's seat, and then you let them score 6, 7 runs.
Right.
Like that's you can't let a team like that back into the game. Now, it was enough out of reach that didn't end up mattering. But it was just the feeling of like, okay, let's put this away. Why are we prolonging this? And it speaks to the struggles that the bullpen has had. Alvarado, to me, I don't know. I'm starting to wonder how much that time away may have impacted him mentally, physically.
Right.
You get comfortable. You're sitting on the couch. He's a guy who's been in this league for a long time. Coming back, does he have the same focus? Does he have the same edge? Clearly not right now. But a guy who needs to get his edge back immediately to help this lineup out is Alec Boehm. Some better signs, Jake, from the previous performance with the Cubs here, getting a hit in there, but he was 0 for his last 18 before that game. A 155 average for a guy in the 4-hole.
That's awful. I mean, that is awful. And you know what's interesting is Bomer only got that hit last game because Topper put Garcia in the 4-hole.
Yeah.
So it's like no one wants to hit cleanup in this lineup because Garcia is not doing particularly well either. No. He's only hitting 224. So I feel like 1 through 3 were solid.
Right.
And then the meat of your lineup, 4, 5, 6, is where we have all of our problems.
Yeah.
And then 7, 8, 9's great. So it's like we have this bookend lineup where and like I said, take the 7, 8, 9 guys, just put them up 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
At least get Marsh and Crawford more at bats.
Right.
Because right now we've got Boehm hitting 155, and the next guy we'll get to, Bryson Stott, is hitting at the Mendoza line at 500. So those guys being at the 6, 7 spot aren't helping you. So
Bryson's hitting 200.
Yeah, Bryson Stott is hitting 200.
Jeez.
Mendoza line, right on it. Now, he's playing really good defense. He actually has a defensive WAR that's positive already this season, and being so early, that's really good.
Yeah.
But when you're hitting 200, that should be your 9-hole hitter, right? Not Crawford, who's hitting over 300. And Alec Boehm, if you're hitting 155 in the major leagues, quite frankly, you just shouldn't be playing. You should be in AAA. And the concerning part for me is for Alvarado, Boehm, and Stott specifically, this is contract year for them.
Right.
So they should not need any more prodding to tell them you got to perform now. And the fact that they're not doing it, and again, it's early. I know it's early, but it's not a promising sign for the year to come.
It's not. Yes, we have a small sample size, Jake, and as just math works, these things tend to smooth themselves out a little bit over time.
Right.
I don't think Alvarado's ERA is going to stay at 12, right? Nor do I think that Tim Mays' ERA is going to stay at 0. Chances
Probably
are.
not.
Yes. So I think these things will level. It's just, can you start to trend in a better direction? You mentioned Adolis Garcia hitting 224. Not the worst. You'd like to get him at least above 250. But again, you expect it. What we're getting out of a Justin Crawford is offsetting some of this.
Right.
You expect the Justin Crawford to hit 225.
Yeah.
And have a good presence in the field and maybe steal you a base or two. That's the performance you need. But a guy who you're now trying to slide into the 4-hole to get some productivity out of, hitting 224, not to mention, Trey Turner at that 250 mark, 254 right now, and some defensive blunders on the season.
Yeah. I thought we were past this, Marshall.
I thought so too.
Last year, it looked like he had turned that glove around, and now he's just back to the old Trey Turner.
Yeah.
3 errors in not even 3 weeks of the season. Right. And it's okay, so he's on track for, what is that, 30 errors this season?
Yeah.
That's not great. The other thing, what I like to do is, especially when you have an off season like this where we didn't really shake the lineup up a whole lot, is to just kind of look back at where we were.
Mm-hmm.
Trey Turner's way worse than he was hitting last year. Garcia's better than Castellanos.
Yeah.
So that's an upgrade.
Not hard to do.
Crawford, remember, our starting center fielder was Johan Rojas.
True.
So, upgrade from to Crawford now.
Yeah.
Boehm's hitting way worse than last year. Schwarber and Harper are kind of as is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of all wishy-washy. It's just kind of what it was. It's fine.
Right.
But we were kind of hoping for a little more than fine.
Yeah.
And if you look at our upcoming schedule, it's not getting any easier. So like we're in the middle of the Cubs series now, which hopefully we won game 1. Hopefully we go on to win that. But then we've got the Braves at home who are tearing it up right now.
Tough.
You go away to Chicago, which obviously will be much more difficult than home to the Cubs. And then your Braves away, which is a big problem. I'm kind of going into that right now, just hoping we don't get swept. I want one of those 3 games. And then we go back out to the hellhole that is Oracle Park in San Francisco,
where we cannot win.
It is impossible to win a series for us for some reason. Topper even, I don't know if you caught it on the last Giants broadcast. Topper said he hates going out there. Like even when he was with the Yankees, they never won out there. It's just like where wins go to die.
Like Eagles have a similar curse.
Yeah, true with the Niners. We gotta figure out something because we gotta win like this Cubs series. You gotta win it. Yeah. And honestly, that Cubs away series, you kind of got to win that because there's these little pockets of series that you hit, like we're about to hit right now, that just are really, really rough.
Yeah, yeah. And you got to keep pace.
Right, exactly. It's crazy to say this less than a month into the season, but like the Braves are already looking like they might get away from us.
Yeah.
So you got you really hope you can win that home series against the Braves. Because I just don't see us winning the away leg with them.
We had some concerns, Jake, about the previous series with the Diamondbacks and the Giants out on the West Coast and how that would shake out. It kind of went as we anticipated it would, unfortunately.
It's tough. I mean, when you go out west at any time, it's difficult, but especially when you're not in mid-season form yet. And the schedulers kind of screwed us here with Giants away a couple of other series and then Giants away again. That's brutal, especially for early in the season. I guess the saving grace is you don't have to go out there later, but I mean it's a very, very high likelihood that you go 2-4 from these 2 series early on, and that's it's just not it's not ideal. You kind of want the chance to go back out there when you're, in a rhythm. And we certainly haven't found a rhythm so far.
Not at all. Let's hope the wins are starting to stack at a faster rate than they have been. 500 is not where you want to be for a team that has a lot of aspirations and has for a number of years, Jake. So, there is one way that the Phillies are outpacing, I think, a lot of the rest of the league.
Sure are.
And that would be in the ABS world, Jake. It's a new addition to baseball. I found it to be rather interesting. The dynamics between the pitchers, the catchers, the umpires. It's so strange to watch, the home plate ump just stand there like, okay, all right, well, I guess I'm wrong then.
Right.
What am I doing here, kind of? But
and Major League Baseball umpires are unlike most other officials in that there was no way to call them out on balls and strikes. You could challenge safe calls and stuff like that. But home plate umpires, Major League Baseball, were untouchable for decades.
Yep.
And now it's funny, what's really fun for me is that now there's official stats of how good and bad the umpires are performing, because I really hope that it stops Angel Hernandez 2.0, because everyone knew that guy was just horrible.
Yeah.
But there was no, it was just he calls balls and strikes how he calls balls and strikes, and that's just the way it is. Well, now there's a record of there are guys that have only missed less than 10 ball strike calls.
Right.
In 4 weeks, 3 weeks.
Prioritize them.
Right. Yeah. Right. So now I hopefully when you get to playoffs, there's a proven track record of
it's
this
accountability.
Guy's really good.
Yeah.
Right. And there was none of that before.
Right.
And the thing that I found really interesting is that we are, we always talk about JT Realmuto as being this really, pinnacle of defense in the MLB. He is number 1 in the league for challenges behind the plate. Now at the plate, he missed one, but when he is catching, he is 6 for 6, 100%. He's the only guy in the MLB who's perfect. And then what's funny to me is we also have a second catcher in the top 10 because Marchand's 4 for 5 at 80%. So he's not 10th in terms of number of times he's gotten it right, but the percentage.
Yeah.
He's tied for 10th in the league. So we have 2 catchers in the top 10 of challenges. And like, I can't stress enough how much that actually moves the needle, even though it doesn't seem like a lot. Because typically those challenges are saved for important moments.
Right.
Like
this could be a strikeout. Yeah.
Right. Or it could like save a walk, stuff like that. So that's a huge jump for us. Another fun stat to point out, Luzardo is one of only 10 pitchers who have successfully challenged. Pitchers, for whatever reason,
they just don't do it.
Stink at this. Like they're horrible. It's not even that they don't do it. They never get it right. Like they all think like, oh no, that was a strike. It never was. And it's funny because like I've seen a couple just from Phillies games where the catcher will be like, like I don't do that. I don't think that's right. But Luzardo is one of only 10 so far that have actually said, no, that's a strike and gotten it right. But so what do you think of ABS? I'm kind of a purist and I was skeptical, but I kind of like it. What do you think?
I do. I like that it gives the batters, it gives the players an opportunity at least to appeal this decision. And I think accuracy is an important part of the game. And I think there's so much money on the line now. These games come down to a ball or a strike, and I think the correct outcome, it's important to reach that no matter who is making that call. So I like it because, again, it's, I think, going to strengthen the quality of the calls that are made on the field. Like, I know that you may fail, what is it, 2 challenges you get and then you're out, or is it just one now?
Well, yeah, no. So I think it's a great balance how they structured it. So you get 2. But if you get it right, it doesn't go away. You can
keep going.
Like there was one inning this season that wasn't a Phillies game; it was another game. But there were 10 challenges in one inning, and they were all
CB right. Buckner calling that game? Was that the one?
Very well could have been. I'm not sure who it was, but like that, they did a really good job. Like I very rarely say this of professional sports leagues, but they nailed this one.
Yeah,
there's a strategy involved because. Like we saw it with the Nationals against us that one game, they blew both of them in the first 3 innings.
Right.
And then those big calls down the line, well, sorry, you just don't you don't have the right to appeal them anymore.
You have to be sure.
Right. Mm-hmm. And that's why like JT Realmuto has become an even bigger defensive asset because he's just like insanely good at knowing the strike zone.
Yeah.
Which I think most catchers like to say they are, but now there's like proof in the pudding. Right. Of look, he is literally 100%. And like I said, it's going to end up like it's tough to know because the calls get reversed. Mm-hmm. But I wonder if there's going to be a way to tell like a WAR stat where how many runs did JT save at the end of the year by nailing all of these these reversal calls. I'm not sure if that's even possible, but it is going to be interesting at the end of the year. I'm going to kind of keep tabs on this, and if there's any movement up or down, we'll try and talk about it here because I do think it's very interesting.
Yeah, it's a fun wrinkle, and it makes the game a little bit more. I think it makes it more watchable. Honestly, it's like every pitch now. Like, oh, could he challenge that? Could he? Like, you're like, it's on the margin. Should he make the call? Oh, he missed it. He didn't, tap the helmet.
Right.
I think it adds another little element that's a lot of fun.
It is fun, yeah, and the suspense, like especially if you're smart and you save them till the later innings, when like they do it pretty quick, but there is like 5 seconds where you're like, oh, strike off, which I think is fun for the game, but like you're right, it's just good to know that there's a chance. Now it's not always going to happen; they might burn their challenges, but there's a chance that. You can't get screwed over in the 9th inning on a strike 3 call because the ump's just trying to get out of there,
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Jake, I've had fun talking about the Phillies, but I'm very excited to talk about what we have coming up right now. The Eagles are now just a week away from draft night. And to celebrate, we're going to look back at the best and the worst Eagles draft picks of this century. Each of us have made our respective lists, best and worst, and we have selected the best and worst draft class for the Eagles over the last 26 years. There were a lot of names that I went over today that I had forgotten about,
Yeah,
Jake.
I had a lot of fun doing this. Like I had
Yeah,
a ton of fun. And
me
you're
too.
you're right, especially like I kind of knew the top 10. Like I didn't really have to think too hard. I kind of had to order them, but I didn't have
Yeah.
to think about like who to put in the list. The busts was fun. I was going back over the
Yeah.
list and I'm like, "Oh my god, we picked that guy." Cuz you like,
Right.
as a fan, we block him out. Like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
yeah.
we didn't really take
Stop
that
thinking about
idiot."
him. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know about you. I have not looked at your list. I have intentionally like hid my eyes. So
I have only seen by accident number 10 on your best list. So
all right.
everything else is
Okay.
a
So
surprise to
we'll
me.
we'll go 10, 10, 9, 9, and I'll start because you know who it
Okay.
is.
All
So
right.
my top 10 draft pick, the 10th best since 2000, because that was our parameter, is Cooper DeJean. 2024. He goes in the second round. By all intents and purposes, he is the best slot corner in the NFL.
Yeah.
We got him in the second round, and I don't have Quinion on this list, but he was the second corner taken
Right.
in that draft by us.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
that is a crazy stat, and like the reason I kind of ranked these top 10 picks as kind of defying an odd in some way.
Okay. Okay.
That's how I
Got it.
prioritize them.
Got it.
And in this one, I think it was just the pure guts from Howie Roseman to say, yeah, I took a corner with the first pick. I don't care. I'm taking him with the second round pick because he is the best on the board.
Right.
And I don't think a lot of GMs would have done that. Howie did it, and it paid off.
Big pick in the Super Bowl that really solidified what turned out to be an Eagles win. Hey, we got it represented right here. Perfect timing. My number 10, Jake, and I had a little bit different philosophy. Mine was the level of importance to the team, and some of these are projections. And I don't think I have as many current players on my list because of the way that I went about this. But number 10 for me is Brandon Graham. He was a round one, 13 overall pick. And this one took a while. He took a while to pan out. For the first couple years, you might remember, he was not the perennial Pro Bowl player that he eventually turned into. You can't, of course, forget the forced fumble in Super Bowl 52 on Tom Brady, the best play by far of his career. But outside of that, third overall, third all time on the Eagles stat list with 79.5 sacks, 23 forced fumbles, Jake. Crazy stat there.
That's a nuts stat, actually. I didn't know that.
Yes, and 363 solo tackles in 215 games played. He's number 10 on my list.
That's awesome. That's a good one. Number 9, I'm going Mr. Jalen Hurts. I don't even love him that much as a player, but in terms of a draft pick, you got to remember we have Carson Wentz.
Yep.
At that time, we weren't in panic mode about Carson Wentz. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But second round out of Oklahoma, Howie drafts him, and I don't know about you, I was confused. I was like, what the heck is Howie doing?
Yes.
This is a stupid pick. We have a quarterback. We had other positional needs at that point. But and I actually clowned him a lot. He said we're the quarterback factory, and I don't know if you remember. I sent you a meme of the Cheesecake Factory logo.
Yeah,
like James and say quarterback factory.
I remember.
But like it turned out to be, the dude became a Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah. How
many Super Bowl MVPs do you get in the second round when you already have a quarterback?
Right.
I mean, it's just another masterclass by Howie, and I have my gripes with him in terms of just like a quarterback in this league, but you can't fault the fact that he took us to 2 Super Bowls and, won one of them.
Yep, you cannot. My number 9, Jake, and this might be a guy you have higher on your list based on your strategic placement here. Jordan Mailata, a 2018 round 7, 233rd pick.
Yes.
Second team All-Pro in 2024, NFL Top 100, number 69 in 2024. Jordan Mailata has solidified the most important spot, in my opinion, on the line for the Eagles, and has had contributions after being drafted in a system, in a sport that he had never played prior to being drafted,
I don't
which
even
is
know if he knew the rules. You
he
know what
definitely, I mean, I know that there was some sort of pilot program to get him more familiar with it,
Yeah.
but the level of athleticism, the work that he put in to be where he is right now, and he's of course a Super Bowl champion. I think he was a big part of both of the Eagles' most recent Super Bowl appearances. It's hard for me to put him anywhere else on this list, given the names that are on it to go.
Mhm.
But I think over time, number 9 will make more sense for Jordan Mailata. It's just an insane story that he was
Yeah.
taken 7th round, was playing rugby, and is now one of the best offensive tackles in the world.
I don't want to give away how high he is, but he is very, very high on my
Okay.
list.
Okay.
Because, like I said, remember, I was in terms of like who, like, how big of a value was he at
Right.
that pick, right?
Right.
So I only have 2 first rounders on my whole list.
Got it.
Because like when you draft a first rounder, he better be good. You know what I mean? Like
I
you are
understand.
expecting him to be good.
Yeah.
When you draft a guy in the 7th round who doesn't play the sport that you're drafting him in, you are hoping that guy maybe becomes a competent backup.
Yeah.
And
Right.
all he did was become a Pro Bowler, like
I know.
one of the best in the league. I just the ability for, I guess I was probably still Howie, I'm thinking, who drafted him.
Believe
for
so.
Howie Roseman to just look at this complete, diamond in the rough and say, yes, we can polish off all of that, that raw, you can't even call it like his fault because he didn't play the sport,
Right?
But all of the polishing that he needed to have to become what he was. Howie Roseman saw that, took a flyer on him, and again, he's one of probably top 5 tackles in the league.
Unbelievable. Number 8, Jake, what do you got?
I have Mr. Lane Johnson.
Okay.
2013 first rounder. And again, I want to stress the fact that I have him on this list at all shows how important I think he was because of how I was ranking them.
Absolutely.
Which is, I don't care that he was a first rounder. Lane Johnson might be one of the best, like, just lineman picks the Eagles have ever had.
Yeah.
You don't know what a guy's going to do when he comes out of college. And Lane Johnson, honestly, he took a step up from college.
Mm-hmm.
You normally, you get a guy that you hope he's as good. Lane Johnson developed under Jeff Stoutland. And honestly, think about it. He was drafted in 2013.
Yeah.
He has been in the league
here
for 13 years now.
Yep.
And he's running it back again. And last year, you saw what happened when we lost him. We are a worse team without this guy.
So much worse.
Just one of the most important cogs in that offensive line. Probably one of the key reasons we've been, in 3 Super Bowls since he's gotten here, and just and a leader in the locker room too, of all things.
Agreed. You might have him on my list someplace too, Jake.
Yeah.
Okay, number 8 for me. We're going defensive end Trent Cole.
Nice.
2005 round 5, pick 146. This guy, 176 games played in the league, and is second on the Eagles all-time sack list with 85 and a half sacks, Jake.
Yeah,
I know that we forget because this era was not necessarily the most successful era in Eagles history. You had an NFC Championship appearance during his time here. And the Eagles did make a few playoff runs. You forget about the contributions that Trent Cole made for this franchise or the level of play that he was up to. But for a time, he was a top 5 defensive end in this league. Yeah. And he was probably the most feared Eagles defensive player in that era. I think it's hard to put him anywhere else, especially considering he's that 5th round pick. I mean, that is more than enough value for a guy like that.
And that's why he's higher on my list.
Okay.
So one of the things that stood out to me about Trent Cole was the immediate impact he had. He's a 5th rounder, and then he gets 8 sacks his rookie year.
Right.
Which is crazy. And also, like, I don't know if you recall, we had drafted a series of huge flops on the D line.
Yeah.
up until then. And then when they took Trent Cole, I think everyone's just kind of like, oh, look, another undersized, DN who's not going to do anything.
Another Jerome McDougal.
Exactly. And he just comes out and blows up other teams' tackles that rookie year. And then the entire rest of his career, he's getting double teamed and he was still able to produce. So yeah, he's higher on my list. I won't spoil it, but good pick. I like where your head's at.
Definitely. Number 7, Jake, who do you got?
I have Mr. Fletcher Cox.
Okay.
2012, another first rounder. So again, just like the way I rank this, I'm saying a lot about Mr. Cox.
Yeah.
Mississippi State product, 70 career sacks.
Crazy.
70. That's from defensive tackle, by the way, not end. He's not an edge rusher.
Unreal.
There are, like, if you talk about positions that are at a premium in the NFL, defensive tackle is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a guy who was not number 1, I wouldn't say, because Aaron Donald was playing with him, but probably number 2.
Yeah. In
the league pretty much his entire career.
Yeah.
And his career, which is kind of an oddity at that position, was over a decade. I mean, he stayed relatively healthy. I mean, he had some injuries. Who doesn't at defensive tackle? But for the most part, he was on the field. He was making a difference. He was in all those Super Bowls with us, and just one of the mainstays on the defensive line in a league where there aren't a lot of those.
Yeah, he missed my list. Jake, he missed my list by 1. Oof. It was between he and Brandon Graham for me.
That's tough.
It's a tough choice because Brandon's higher on the sack total. He's played longer. I think the reason I kept Brandon is because of that play in the Super Bowl and the emotional leader that Brandon was. But Fletcher Cox, I mean, you can't say anything bad about the guy. There are just so many good people to put on this list. My number 7, Jake, is a little guy out of Villanova. Brian Westbrook, 2002, third-round pick, number 91 overall, 121 games played. This is a guy who was undersized, overlooked, had the punt return ability. That's something that flashed early in his career, but more than 6,000 yards rushing, 41 rushing touchdowns, and, of course, the screenplay, the Andy Reid West Coast style of offense, 442 receptions, Jake, almost 4,000 yards receiving, and 30 receiving touchdowns. The ultimate Swiss Army knife in that backfield, and really was a big cog in the wheel for the early successes of what I consider to be the modern day Eagles franchise. The Eagles that I grew up with. He had to be on this list.
Yeah, he's much higher on my list because of the value. Remember, at this time, Villanova was Division II.
Yeah.
They weren't even a Division I program. Imagine if in a week from now, imagine if Howie Roseman took a football player out of Shippensburg University.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this was. He took a Division II in the 3rd round. Like, this was not like some late round flyer.
Right.
And at running back, which is at the time they needed a running back. This was not like we're so set right now and we have an all pro guy. No, that was not the case. They needed somebody. The guts to take a Division II player in the 3rd round. I don't think it'll ever happen again. Honestly, I'll lay down the marker that I don't think a specialist will ever be taken from Division II again in the first 5 rounds.
Yeah, but
when we did it, it turned out to be, one of, if not the best running back in Eagles history. Especially when you factor in like those early Westbrook days. He didn't really have a lot of pieces around him on the offense. Mm-hmm. It was kind of just him and Donovan McNabb making it work.
Yep.
And they did for a lot of years. They did
just do whatever. All right, Jake. Number 6.
I have Mr. Deshaun Jackson.
This is interesting, Jake. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So 2nd rounder. So you're like, oh, that's a lot of value. You expect a lot out of him.
Yeah.
But the reason I picked him is because it just kind of like we talked about with Trent Cole, it ended this streak of awful picks at wide receiver.
Terrible.
I mean,
Hank
we had
Baskets.
Right. Well, exactly. We'll get into it in the busts, I'm sure. But it was like 2 or 3 in a row where you're like, what are you doing, guys?
Yeah.
Like he's what? And then we take Deshaun Jackson, and I think for a lot of people, it was the same deal. It was like, is this going to be same story, different day kind of thing?
Yeah.
And then he goes and becomes one of the most explosive players in the NFL. My favorite play from him is still the opener against Washington on Monday night, and Mike Vick threw him that, like, what was it, like 85 yards
over LaRon Landry. Yeah.
Oh, it was just one of the most dynamic, just pure, you can't catch me
flat
moments in the NFL. He just ran straight. There was no double move.
No,
it was just, I'm faster than you, and I'm going to show it. And it was like the most electric start to an Eagles season that I can remember.
Yeah, incredible. And he tracked that ball, and it seemed like he even picked up speed somehow as he was going to catch it. Incredible play. So many great Deshaun Jackson memories. Jake, we have picked the same person at number 6.
That's weird. We did not talk about this,
guys. We did not.
This was completely independent. That's funny.
We did not. 183 games on his career, Jake, 11,000 yards. It's not just that this was an incredible player for the Eagles. This was an incredible all-pro level player in this league. 34 50-plus yard touchdowns. Talk about a deep threat. Second in NFL history, Jake, to only Jerry Rice.
That's pretty good company.
That is very, very good company. 17 and a half per reception. 17 and a half per reception on his career.
That
incredible.
Wild. Especially coming from a season when all of our receivers' average yards was like under 10.
Yeah.
You know, and he's going at 17. That's a wild number.
58 touchdowns total, Jake, on his career in the receiving game. That's 34. That's well over half of his receiving touchdowns were 50-plus yard touchdowns, not to mention the impact that he made in the return game. We forget, I think, about the electric moments. Of course, the Miracle of the Meadowlands, number 2, fumbling the ball, picking it back up, finding the lane, and, sprung by a Jason Avant block down the field to cap that incredible comeback. One of the best moments in Eagles history, something we will never forget. All right, number 5, Jake.
I have Mr. LaShawn McCoy.
Okay, interesting.
2009 second rounder out of Pitt, and again, I like the story behind the draft, and for LaShawn McCoy, it was because we had Brian Westbrook. What do you mean we're drafting a running back? We have Brian Westbrook. He's the man. He's an all-pro. What are you doing? But I think it was the boldness of Andy Reid or whoever it may have been to say, I think Westbrook's starting to decline.
Right.
We need a guy now that brings that same skill set.
The juice too.
Right.
Yeah.
And really, he was like a carbon copy.
Yeah.
I mean, hands out of the backfield, just like come and get me kind of footwork.
Yeah.
Like, in fact, I honestly think LaShawn McCoy is actually better at that than Westbrook.
Oh, absolutely.
I just
change of direction. Incredible.
Yeah. Like one-on-one, there were not many defenders that I would bet that could tackle LaShawn McCoy by themselves on a one-on-one.
I'll be honest, and this is, a little biased, but cuts that we have never seen since. Jake.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he would those swing passes out of the back when like that, outside linebacker or nickel corner or whoever like was waiting for it because we did it all the time.
Right.
And they just never touched him.
No.
It wasn't even like he would shed the tackle. They would miss him.
Yeah.
And
completely.
These are like NFL players. They're not like college scrubs. He was unreal, and that's a great call. I don't know of many other players in the league right now that could do that.
89 total touchdowns for LaShawn McCoy. A little preview. He's on my list too. Okay, we're number 5, Jake, right? Jalen Hurts is my number 5.
Okay, nice.
So 2020 round 2, he's still in the middle of his career. We are hoping this is his prime that he is right in the middle of, but 110 touchdowns, Jake.
Already, that's crazy.
That is crazy output. Only 45 interceptions, 110 touchdowns, and 3,500 rushing yards, 63 rushing touchdowns, second only to Steve Van Buren in Eagles history. That I know is ballooned by the tush push. But even in
Still
that
counts.
case, Steve Van
Yeah.
Buren was doing a lot of tush-push-esque stuff
Yeah.
too.
Quarterback
Let's
sneak. Yeah.
remember that. So, Super Bowl appearances, two of them. That's important. And the only quarterback to start and finish a season in an Eagles uniform hosting a Lombardi trophy. That to me speaks volumes. And
Yeah.
you talked about the context of it all. Yes, I was scratching my head. I was actually kind of frustrated with the
Right.
pick that night, I'll be honest. But the productivity from Jalen Hurts, the way he has stabilized that offense, the way he stabilized the room after the exodus of Carson Wentz, this mammoth figure
Right.
in the Philly sports world. Everybody thought he was the second coming. He was the new guy. He's the better McNabb,
Yeah.
and he doesn't turn into that. And now we've got a guy coming on the other end who is potentially going to exceed the heights, and probably already has exceeded the heights of McNabb.
He got a ring, baby.
He's got
Yeah.
the ring, so he's my number 5, Jake.
Yeah, and number 4, we already discussed Trent Cole.
Okay.
Fifth rounder. That's like I'm talking about value here. When you get a guy who becomes all pro in the fifth round, like fifth round guys, you're firmly in the territory of like these guys will probably get cut at some point.
Yeah.
And he just turned into one of our best edge rushers of all time.
Right.
So for me, he was number 4.
Okay. LaShawn McCoy is my number 4, Jake. We just spoke
Yeah.
about him. 11,000 yards on his career, 73 rushing touchdowns, and 16 receiving touchdowns on his career too. So again, that we talked about the importance of Brian Westbrook and his ability to do both. LaShawn McCoy could do both and do it well. That screen game was still alive and well in the Andy Reid era with LaShawn McCoy. Hated the way that he was thrust from this franchise by the dreaded Chip Kelly, but wish him all the best after that. And he still had a lot of success even after leaving the team.
He kind of revolutionized that Bills offense when he went there because at that point they weren't really doing much, and he brought some juice to that team.
All right, we're getting down to it, Jake. Getting down to it. Number 3.
Number 3, I had Mr. 36 West.
Okay.
Brian Westbrook, because again, just the fact that they had the guts to draft a guy who's in Division II, and not even there were a couple of D2, D3 linemen that would go, but not a running back. Like you're not taking a running back out of D2 at this point, and they took a flyer on him, and I mean, talk about paying off. Like not just maybe I'm biased because I'm an Eagles fan, but like he was one of the best running backs in the league.
Yeah,
at that time,
like
let alone Eagles history. Like there's something to be said for him, kind of revolutionizing what a modern running back is expected to do, which is you got to catch the ball. Like there's no Alvin Kamara without Brian Westbrook.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I agree.
Like Brian Westbrook was the start of that, like almost like a fifth receiver kind of running back. And there are so many guys that do it really well now. Jahmyr Gibbs, Alvin Kamara, like we said. So just not only revolutionized the Eagles, revolutionized offense in general.
Yeah. The position.
Yeah.
Okay, number 3 for me, and again, I was talking about value, and I was talking about what they mean to the Eagles franchise. Number 3 for me is Zach Ertz, a 2013 round number 2, pick 35. Context matters here because the Eagles also in 2013 had a very, very good Brent Selleck on the roster, a guy who narrowly missed my list, and is number 2 all time on the Eagles receiving list when it comes to tight ends. Then they just went out and drafted a guy in 2013 who was one better than their best tight end in franchise history.
Right.
170 games played overall, or 123 games played overall right now, obviously with the Commanders. 579 receptions, 6,000 yards, receiving 38 touchdowns. Never have we seen the likes of Zach Ertz when it comes to the tight end position. I know Dallas Goedert is really good. He's actually sitting at number 3 on the all-time receiving list for the Eagles right now in terms of tight ends. He was another one that was going to be on my list because, again, it was a similar situation where Zach Ertz is on the roster, and then we've got Dallas Goedert coming into the fold, but you can't get value like that every time in the second round. I know that he's also, he's the guy who made the game-winning score in our first ever Super Bowl victory. That, to me, matters as well in terms of his legacy and what he meant to this team that for so long, Jake, that offense ran through him. Carson Wentz would only throw to him.
Yeah, right.
He was the entire offense. And for a tight end to be able to hold that position, I think speaks volumes to the quality of player he was. He's number 3 for me.
Yeah, so the reason I left him off this list, and I'm almost starting to kick myself for it now, because like I was thinking to take a tight end at 2, he needs to produce.
Yeah.
But also, like, I'm pretty confident he is going to end up in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, I agree.
So if you're getting a Hall of Famer at the second round, it kind of changes the dynamic a little bit.
Yes. Yeah.
So maybe I should have included him on this list, but that is a very, very good pick. And honestly, just one of my favorite Eagles of all time.
Absolutely.
Like talk about a guy. You remember that one shot where he had like the cut on his nose and he's bleeding and he doesn't come out. And he doesn't even get cleaned up. He like shoos the trainer away from him. Like he's just a Philly
gritty
football guy.
Yep.
And a guy that like when he went down with the Commanders last season with that knee, like my heart broke. And that is not something like that's not an emotion I feel for a lot of guys that have left. Like typically when you leave, I'm like good riddance,
fine,
whatever.
Yeah.
Not him. He's different. He's in that tier of like will always be an Eagle. Love him to death. I honestly hope that we bring him back for a swan song in some respect, even if it's just ceremonial, but something like that, because I love that guy to death.
I think it'll happen. Number 2, Jake.
Number 2 is Jordan Mailata, because there's not many guys. If you're going to talk about value in the draft, when they don't play the sport that you are drafting in, he played a different game, and they took him and turned him not into just a starter, but an all-pro starter, and one that honestly was kind of like impassable in the Super Bowl. I mean, they had the Chiefs had one of the best defensive lines in the league.
Absolutely.
And Jalen Hurts just like didn't have any pressure on him. Like that whole game.
Nope.
Was just had time to throw, had time to roll out of the pocket, had
issues.
Running lanes. Like as a unit, it was impressive, but it was particularly impressive because one of the guys wasn't a football player until 2018.
Right.
Which is talk about value. He's my number 2.
Insanity. I think we might have the same number 1, Jake. We'll see in a second.
I'm thinking.
Number 2 for me is Lane Johnson. Round 1.
Oh, that high. Yeah,
pick
that's good.
Number 4. You talked about it, Jake, but I don't think that there is a more valuable player outside of my number 1 for this franchise in the last 25 years, 26 years.
Especially talk about like longevity of it, right?
Yes, absolutely. Consistent 2-time first-team All-Pro, 3-time second-team All-Pro, 6 Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowl rings for this franchise. He has been the steadiest lineman that I can remember outside of, I mean, Jason Peters comes up in that conversation, but Jason Peters did not reach the heights and was not drafted by the Eagles. Jason Peters didn't reach the heights that Lane Johnson did. Obviously he was on the team, the Eagles, when the Eagles won the Super Bowl the first time around, but he was injured for the rest of that season. And that even put more pressure on a younger Lane Johnson to hold up his end of the bargain when the Eagles won Super Bowl 52. And he did with flying colors. I think even though he was a high pick, about as high as you can possibly get, I don't think that you can ask for more out of a player for this long and to mean more to a franchise. We see it. You talked about it. The drop-off when he is on the field compared to when he is not on the field, the numbers are horrible for the Eagles when he is not on the field. The most important player outside of number 1 for me that we have seen in the last 2 decades. Number 1, Jake.
Number 1, it's my favorite Eagle of all time, Mr. Jason Kelce.
Let's go.
2011, 6th round pick out of Cincinnati. And not just a guy that revolutionized the Eagles, changed what it meant to be a center in the NFL.
Yeah.
Centers used to be like Jeff Saturday. You know, like you're just going to sit there. You're not going to move. You know, maybe we'll do some pulls, but nothing crazy. And then we get Jason Kelce and we have him pulling past the tackle. We have him on screens being the leading blocker from center. He's the guy that snapped the ball. Like he was able to change playbooks.
Yeah.
I mean, he revolutionized like defenses. how do you stop a center that can get out to the edge on a pass play? Like,
unbelievable.
And it's a guy that when he got drafted, everyone was like, why are you drafting him? He's too tiny. He's too small. Are you going to turn him into a tight end? Like, what are you going to do with him?
Right.
And he just went and became what, in my opinion, must be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Absolutely.
If he's not, I think it's a disgrace not seen since this year with Bill Belichick. But that's a discussion for another time.
We already had that discussion, actually.
Yeah, Jason Kelce is, in my opinion, the best ever Eagles draftee and my favorite Eagle of all time.
I agree. We had the same we had different philosophies, but we arrived at the same conclusion, Jake. Jason Kelce is number one. There's not a player that means more to this franchise ever.
Right. Yeah.
Set aside all of the incredible things that he has done on the field. The parade alone will forever live in the memories of every Eagles fan. 193 games played, every single one of them in Eagle Green. That alone speaks volumes. Here's something that I didn't even realize, Jake. 6 times this man who plays center was a first team All-Pro. There's one spot.
That's crazy.
There's one spot.
There's not 2 of them. Yeah, right.
No, you
it's
get
wide
that
receiver.
You're the best center in the league. 6 different years.
Yeah.
7 Pro Bowls overall. 2 Super Bowl appearances. 1 of 2 in those Super Bowls. Wish that he would have been there for the third Super Bowl and gotten a second ring. But talk about a personality, a forever Philadelphian, a guy who you can't replace in terms of the atmosphere that he brings to a locker room too.
And one of the few guys that, like, despite not being from here, you couldn't tell. I mean, that dude, like, the awareness to wear the mummers, like, that is a Philly thing. That's a Philly, like, native thing.
Yeah.
And he said, in this moment, like to have the heads, I don't even know if he was just being silly, but, like, I don't know if he knows what it meant to the city to have, like, our guy have this city icon on this day that, like, we had waited so long for.
Yeah.
And that speech is the best speech ever given by any athlete of all time.
I agree.
It was maybe Lou Gehrig in his farewell speech is probably number 1. Jason Kelce's number 2.
Yeah.
And the tone was a bit different from Lou Gehrig's farewell. But he's honestly just not just one of my favorite Eagles ever, one of my favorite athletes ever.
Mm-hmm.
Just for, what he did off the field with his foundations and stuff, and what he continues to do off the field with his kind of, like, media presence. He's a special guy.
He is. There will never be another Jason Kelce. Some honorable mentions, Jake, for this list for me, real quick.
Fun.
Todd Harriman's a round 4 pick in 2005.
Yeah.
Pick 126, 135 games played. Very, very solid player. Another Brent Selleck was on my list here. I would also give, we already talked about Dallas Goedert, Devontae Smith. And here's the reason that he was so close for me.
That's a good shout.
He, in 80 games so far, 5,000 yards. He is at a pace that I don't think any other Eagles drafted wide receiver has ever hit. And he hit the Eagles rookie receiving record. 31 touchdowns, is just so reliable and kind of got us out of, we'll talk about it, some bad situations when it came to the wide receiver core. It was, the Eagles had nothing, and then they had Devontae Smith, and then you add A.J. Brown, and now we're going to Super Bowls. So he really solidified that offense. Another one, unsung, but a crazy good player, Sheldon Brown. A second round.
Oh, the quarterback 2 on that team, but that's a good one.
Pick 59, 10-year career with 26 interceptions and 8 sacks. Not to mention an incredible shellacking of Reggie Bush on a night in New Orleans. Years before the Eagles would go on to hoist their second Super Bowl trophy in the very same stadium. Another one for me, DeJean, and then Quinyon Mitchell. I think even though he's a first-round pick, the Eagles need a player like that at that position. They have forever been plagued by horrible draft picks at the cornerback position.
Sheldon Brown was the last good one.
Sheldon Brown. Well, I would say, and Sheldon Brown and Lito Shepherd came in the same
Right.
draft.
Right.
Interestingly, Jake, Lito Shepherd, 2002 first round pick, 19 picks overall in his career. He played for 10 years. Sheldon Brown, 2002, he played for 10 years as well.
Yeah.
Could we be doing the exact same thing with Quinion and Cooper? They came round one, round two. That's how the Lito Shepherd Sheldon Brown situation was. Very
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
History repeats itself. Anyway, Jake. All right, let me start off with these lowlights.
The busts.
Okay. So here was my philosophy. This was level. I think context matters in my picks here, but it was also the level of underperformance that I took into account. So number 10 for me is Nelson Aguilar. He may be higher on the list for you, but he is number 10 for me with a first round pick 20. The Eagles needed a solid whiteout option. They did not have a good core at that point. Had just selected the year prior Jordan Matthews, and they would a year later, I believe, take Carson Wentz to try and shore up an offense that was kind of hapless under Chip Kelly. And move into a new era. So Nelson Aguilar needed to be the guy. The first couple games with Carson Wentz went pretty well, and then the drops started. 389 receptions. His numbers actually don't look that bad, but I think a lot of those numbers came after his time with the Eagles and may have come with the Raiders, came with the Ravens. 37 touchdowns overall. This guy played for 9 years in the league, which is kind of surprising, but the critical drops, Jake, in high pressure situations. The only reason he's number 10 on my list is because he performed so well in Super Bowl 52. He was an important cog in Super Bowl 52.
This is going to be an easy one because number 10 for me is Nelson Aguilar.
Okay, let's go.
And it's the exact, so my philosophy was the same, but kind of reversed, which is everyone on my list is a first round pick except one, because I went of value of pick and what we lost in taking this guy there.
Yeah.
Aguilar is only number 10 because of the Super Bowl year. Because the whole year was pretty solid. Not just the Super Bowl where he went like 9 catches for 80 yards or whatever.
Yeah.
But let me hit you with this stat. Of 63 wide receivers who have been drafted in the top 20 since 1960 and have averaged at least 10 starts per season, only 3 have had fewer yards after 7 seasons than Nelson Aguilar.
Wow.
And all 3 of them were drafted in 1972 or earlier. He is a historic flop.
Yeah.
And he would have been way higher on this list if it not for that one glorious season where he actually put something together and helped us win a Super Bowl.
Yep. Incredible. Okay, this is a low pull, but it matters to me because this was an era of horrible Eagles cornerback play. Jaquan Jarrett.
Oh, I forgot about that name.
2011, round number 2, pick number 54. This guy was out of the league in 4 years, Jake.
Yeah.
The Eagles needed. This was an era of Dimitri Patterson. This was an era of the Nnamdi Asomugha time. The Eagles needed a guy who was going to be developed, a guy who was going to come in after the fact. And Jaquan Jarrett couldn't even show up. 2 interceptions, Jake, 1.5 sacks in 47 games played. That is abysmal production.
Bad. I forgot about it. That's one where I blocked him out. And he, you know what's funny? He didn't even come up in my research.
Really?
That's a good, and honestly, he probably deserves to be on my list too, because he was pretty bad.
A round 2 pick. You were expecting some production.
Yeah, right.
Out of a round 2 pick.
And especially at a position where it's not like quarterback where there's a ton of guys that can take it. It's corner. It's not like a super high, traditionally a super high, flying type of position to pick from. But that's a good shout.
Number 9. What do you got, Jake?
I have JJ
Oh,
Arcega-Whiteside.
wow. Okay. He's way higher on my list.
Yeah,
Okay.
so the reason is because he's a second rounder. He's the only non-first rounder on my
Got it.
entire list.
Got
But
it.
he was so bad that I felt the need to include him
Yeah.
because I remember, and it's like haunts my memory, when he was drafted. I don't know if it was Mel Kiper or whoever it was, said this guy's going to be the next Plaxico Burress.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And he sure wasn't, Marsh. He
The
was
Plaxico
not
that shot
Plaxico
himself in
Burress.
the leg,
Right,
maybe.
yeah, maybe.
He couldn't play.
Yeah, after the injury, he was Plaxico Burress. But he was awful. He's one of the only guys I can remember that like single-handedly lost the game.
Yeah.
Do you remember that game
Oh,
versus the
absolutely.
Lions?
Against the Lions. Yep. Down at the 1 yard line.
And that was not his first drop of that game. I think he had 3 that game, but that was obviously the defining moment. And that was a stone hand drop. That was not like he was under a ton of pressure.
Nope.
He was getting hit. No, he just dropped a football
dropped.
I would have caught. You would have caught that. I think a lot of people would have caught.
Yeah.
And we're not getting paid millions of dollars to be a wide receiver.
Yeah.
So he's number 9 for me.
Okay. We had a parameter here, Jake, 2000 and beyond. I went to the 2000 draft for this man.
Oh, fun.
None other than Todd Pinkston, a second round pick number 36. So just out of the first round, Jake. Pick number 36. 78 games played, 2,816 yards in those 78 games and 14 touchdowns. One of the worst, I think, number 2 receivers that was a long-term number 2 receiver.
Yeah, he stayed with us forever.
Poor
Donovan McNabb.
I just remember those times where it was like the ball was out there to be caught and Todd Pinkston just noodle arming it. Okay, here we go. Well, I couldn't get there, Donovan. I don't know.
Scared to get hit?
I don't know. And this was an era, again, you started off, you've got James Thrash as your number 1 receiver for that Eagles team. You needed a good wide receiver. A little too lanky, a little too slow, not aggressive enough. Todd Pinkston at number, I know that he's not in the first round, but he's just squeaking out of the first round. I think his value he was put way, way higher than he should have been in that draft.
You know what's sad is that I'm realizing we've had a lot more busts than we've had hits because he's another guy that I left off my list that could totally have been on here because he was just so bad.
Okay, let's go. Let's go 8.
So number 8 for me is Derek Barnett.
Oh, okay.
2017. And again, he had like an okay career, but 2017, first rounder, defensive end out of Tennessee. Something I haven't gotten into yet that I'm going to really get into a lot as we move down this list. I put a lot of weight into who we passed on.
Okay.
To take.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
You know who we passed on to take Derek Barnett, Marshall?
2017. Oh, man.
Still in the league.
Still in the league. Oh, tell me.
TJ Watt.
Ah, of course.
We skipped TJ Watt to get Derek Barnett.
Unreal.
And I don't know if there's certainly more egregious misses on this list.
Yeah.
But I don't know about more impactful misses.
Yeah.
Than the production that TJ Watt has had versus the production that we got out of Derek Barnett.
I don't know. I got one that I think.
That's fun.
Yeah, I think I have might rival it.
I have one better, but he's number 1. So he earned it.
Okay. So we are at number 7 now. I'm going to go round number 1, 2011 draft.
Okay.
Danny Watkins.
The firefighter. Yeah. I have him on this list too.
With pick number 23, 24 games played, Jake. He was out of the league 2 years later.
He just wanted to fight fires.
He just wanted to fight fires, Jake.
He didn't want to play football.
No. And this offensive line needed a young guy to start. Like, this was a kind of transition period, right? We weren't doing well. We weren't doing all that well in this era.
Nope.
And needed to start rebuilding after the Sean Andrews of the world exited. And, we were picking up, I think we picked up Jason Peters not long after this or in this era too. But you've got to have offensive line play. The Eagles have always known you need offensive line play. They wasted a lot of draft capital on a big offensive lineman. There's a guy up my list that's also an offensive lineman too, but Danny Watkins stands out. 2 years? That's all you get?
Yeah,
that's all you get out of him?
Bad. You just
really
bad.
Bad.
Fired, man. You just want to ride that fire truck. So my number 7 is a guy that, like, if you're not a diehard Eagles fan, you might have forgotten him. Broderick Bunkley.
Oh, I remember. Yeah,
baby.
He almost made that.
First rounder, defensive tackle out of Florida State. A guy that, apart from stuffing the run, I don't know if he ever did anything.
I don't think he did.
I think he just, first and second down, he'd sit in there, and then he'd go off the field and then come back. Another one to talk about a miss. Remember, we were having some linebacker issues back then. You know who we missed? 2-time Pro Bowler Chad Greenway played for the Vikings. So, of course, we had a very average defensive tackle when we could have had Chad Greenway.
Let's keep it moving. Number 6. It is a wide receiver.
Oh.
And it is a year after Todd Pinkston.
Oh, I know where we're going.
None other than Fred X.
Fred X, baby.
We got Freddie Mitchell, round 1, pick 25, 90,
so bad.
90 career receptions, and 1,263 yards, 5 touchdowns. Jake, if you take away 4th and 26, those numbers don't look so great.
Yeah, well, I was going to say he has probably one of the most famous 26 yards in Eagles history.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, did absolutely nothing.
He caught a McNabb scramble play.
Yeah. Well, that was McNabb.
10 seconds later. Yes,
play.
exactly.
Yeah, it wasn't really Fred X. He just caught a perfectly thrown ball.
He just ran for 15 seconds.
He's a little higher on my list, and I'm going to wait to tell you who we missed out on, because in terms of sheer volume, you're going to get upset.
Okay.
But I'm going to hold off because he's on my list too.
Okay. Number 6.
My number 6 is Andre Dillard.
Okay. We are very close. Okay.
Yeah. I have Andre Dillard at 6 because in 2019, we took, a slightly undersized offensive tackle out of Washington. And by the way, he lost his job to one Jordan Mailata.
Yep.
Keep in mind, never played the game before.
Never. Nope.
So a guy that was, it's highly touted tackle out of a big school, lost his job to some Australian guy that didn't know the game.
Yeah.
But we talk about misses. We were having some wide receiver problems, as you know.
Absolutely.
Guess who else was drafted in 2019, Marshall?
Tell me about it, Jake.
Give you 3. Debo Samuel, DK Metcalf, and a guy that goes by the name of A.J. Brown.
Yep.
And we passed all of those guys.
All of them.
To take a backup tackle.
Let's go. And okay, so Andre Dillard is my number 5. So we'll go ahead and switch to that.
Yeah.
But I will say the only thing that kept him from being higher on my list is, number 1, Jordan Mailata played so well. I think it was undeniable that Jordan Mailata was a better player, better size, better physical traits, better movement, everything. But also, we got a pretty okay deal to get rid of Andre Dillard.
I didn't factor that in. I didn't think, because it's just a draft pick, so I didn't really account for that. But you're on to something.
Yeah, he did not perform as well as we would have liked him to. We didn't get enough benefit, I think, out of a first round pick coming at number 22 overall. But out of the league by 2024, Jake. So this is there are plenty of players that were drafted in 2019 that are still on NFL rosters.
Right.
Andre Dillard, not one of them. All right, your number 5, Jake.
My number 5 is Fred X. So I also want to bring up, remember when he just inexplicably talked trash on the Patriots the first time we played them?
Beautiful.
And Bill Belichick, who is notoriously very mum with the media, said he's terrible and you could print that. He said that to reporters. And here's a fun little thing that I learned today. Here's who we passed up on in the 2001 draft, just in terms of wide receivers. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Chris Chambers, T.J. Houshmandzadeh.
Oh boy, good one.
Chad Johnson.
Of course.
Steve Smith. And here's the one that really got me. Reggie Wayne.
Oh boy, just some
Those
Hall of Famers.
are 5 guys that could have been Eagles.
Yeah.
And we picked
Freddie
Red
Mitchell.
X.
Let's go. Let's go. Okay, number 4, Jake. This was a head scratcher even when it happened for me.
Okay.
I did not know who this man was in 2014. An
Oh,
undersized
yeah.
defensive end, Marcus Smith.
Yep. He's on my list too.
53 games played, 6.5 sacks, and he's out of the league 4 years later. He did virtually nothing for this Eagles franchise.
Yeah.
Nothing to speak of.
Yeah.
And there were plenty of good guys on the board to be had, too.
Mm-hmm. I'll get to that because he's on my list, too. But
Okay.
I'm going to go to my 4, which
do
was Danny Watkins.
Okay.
The firefighter.
Love him.
I want to throw in one little tidbit that I left out while we were talking about him the first time, which is that before he lost his job to Dennis Kelly, who is a 6th round pick.
Familiar.
And he was our 1st rounder.
Yep.
So if that doesn't tell you what a bust is, I don't know what will.
He is a bust for sure. Number 3, Jake. JJ Arcega-Whiteside.
Oh, you have him nice and high. Yeah.
I have him nice and high. A 2018 second round pick, 57 overall, 290 career receiving yards.
So bad.
Out of the league in 3 years, 1 measly touchdown, Jake. One measly touchdown. And I think it was against Washington, and it was not that impressive of a play. It was kind of like he just fell into it. But picked ahead of, and this is one you've been talking about the people that we were missing on. Picked ahead of Paris Campbell, Deontay Johnson, and this is the kicker, Terry McLaurin.
Oh, no way.
Was on the board. Terry McLaurin was out there.
That's criminal. I didn't know that.
Terry McLaurin was picked 20 slots later, about 20 slots later. And we needed wide receivers. We needed them bad.
Sure did. Wow, that is. I wish you wouldn't have told me that.
Honestly,
I feel a little sick. No, where are we on 3?
3. Let's go. Yeah.
Number 3. My number 3 is Marcus Smith.
Okay.
Here's a fun fact for you. In 3 seasons, he did not start 1 game. Not one. He was a 1st round pick. And guess who was on the board when we picked him? DeMarcus Lawrence.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
We could have had DeMarcus Lawrence. Instead, we had a guy that didn't start 1 game.
Not even. That was just a horrible era of Eagles football.
Yeah.
Number 2, Jake. This one might surprise you, but I think it's important contextually. Kevin Cobb. A 2nd round.
Wow, I didn't even put him. He's not on my radar. Okay.
Number 36. 5,000 passing yards, 28 touchdowns, 25 interceptions. Only had a 5-year career. Yeah. This was the period in time where the Eagles, needed to start to think about moving off of Donovan McNabb.
Right.
And this was the heir apparent. And I think, Jake, this one stings a little bit more for me because my very first NFL game was in none other than Baltimore, Maryland, my birthplace.
Oh, no. I know exactly
Eagles
what you're going to say.
Started Donovan McNabb, benched him mid-game, and Kevin Cobb threw a pick 6 on an intended pass to Deshaun Jackson right to Ed Reed, the longest interception return touchdown in NFL history. And my 12-year-old eyes got to see it all. 13-year-old eyes got to see it all right there.
That is awful. Yeah, beautiful timing. Personal tie, he wasn't really on my radar, but that personal story, I'm surprised you didn't have him at 1. For me, you actually mentioned him in this pod already. Jerome McDougal.
Let's go. Okay.
2003, Miami. Here's my funny story for Jerome McDougal. Okay. He had 3 career sacks, but on one of those sacks, he actually got 30 penalty yards because one was a roughing the passer.
Let's go.
And then when the ref threw the flag, he kicked it. So he got a game misconduct for that. So he had, for his career, -12 career sack yards.
Let's go.
He might be the only person in history with negative sack yards. Because like how do they get negative? You know what I mean?
I
Like
don't
it doesn't make
know.
sense. And also, I this is kind of there's only one that's far worse than this. This one made me sick. Guess who was on the board when we took Jerome McDougal?
Oh, Ray Lewis.
Troy Polamalu.
Oh,
We could have had Troy Polamalu. Instead, we got a
to
guy
go alongside
with
with
negative sack yards.
dude. Think about Troy Polamalu
And
and
Doc beat off.
Dawkins.
Yeah, we could have had that. And instead, we went with Jerome McDougal.
Hey, Jake, I
Yeah.
think we've done it again.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just predicting it right now.
For the
Number one
number
on
one.
my list
All right.
is none other than the 2020 first round pick.
We did.
Jalen Reagor.
We sure did. Oh, it's so bad.
It's
so
terrible.
Bad. It's so
He
bad.
only had a 4-year career,
Oh.
64 games played, 86 receptions, 1,000 yards in those 4 years. But it was so much worse on the field than it is on paper.
Yeah.
This guy could not catch anything. And when he did, he was fumbling the ball
Right,
and putting it back on and it was just boneheaded play after boneheaded play. He was supposed to be a good return man. He was not a good return man. The Eagles had no good wide receivers to speak of, and then finally broke the curse the year after, drafting Devontae Smith, just going with what the scouts thought was the best thing instead of trying to outsmart everybody and go with the guy from TCU who was not good enough or fast enough to be on an NFL roster. But the thing that hurts the most, and I know you're going to mention it, the thing that hurts the most is that he was taken just a singular pick before Justin Jefferson.
Oh.
A generational wide receiver, maybe a first ballot Hall of Famer when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
One
and
pick before.
From what I remember, I'm pretty sure there were either interviews or there might have even been video. When we took Reagor, the Minnesota Vikings
were
laughed at us.
Yes.
Yeah, like laughed at us.
Yes.
Like said, oh my God, I can't believe they did that.
Yeah.
And that's one of the few times I don't do like a ton of like draft day research.
Yeah.
Because there's too many moving parts. You could trade up, you could trade down, and you could swap picks, all that stuff. I knew that Justin Jefferson was better than Jalen Reagor.
Yeah.
And so did literally everyone else. And I don't know if how he was trying to outthink the room.
He was.
Or I don't know what he was doing. But it was just, it's gotta be, he's obviously my number one also. Gotta be the biggest just draft idiocy of all time. Might be of all time, not just the Eagles.
I agree. And not just Justin Jefferson, Jake, but also selected before Brandon Ayuk, T. Higgins, Michael Pittman Jr.
So many good ones in that draft.
Take anybody but Jalen Reagor.
And just like players, like there are so many good players in that 2020 draft. Like forget why we needed a wideout. I guess it's kind of irrelevant. But just there were so many talented players in that draft, and we took none of them. We took Jalen Reagor.
Hey, at least we are aligned in one way. We know who was the worst and who was the best.
Yeah, right. And it's interesting because we had such different philosophies, and it goes to show you how amazing Jason Kelce was and how horrible Jalen Reagor was.
Absolutely horrible. A lot of guys on your list that I would have included. Maybe Corey Simon is an unsung bad first round pick.
He was one of those because he was so highly touted.
Yes.
And then he just really didn't do much.
All right, Jake. To finish it out, the best and worst draft classes. Let's finish it on a high note. So let's start. Worst Eagles draft class in the last 26 years, Jake. Who do we have?
I went with the class that had two of my biggest flops.
Okay.
Which is 2019.
2019.
Number one, Andre Dillard.
Yeah.
Number two, and this is saying something, the best player taken in this draft, Miles Sanders.
Yep.
3, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. 4, Sharif Miller. And maybe my favorite, Clayton Thorson.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, I mean, just a generational talent.
Incredible.
No, that was just there. Miles Sanders had a couple good years for us, but if you just look at like career arc, none of those guys were any good.
None of those guys were any good at all.
They were 0 for 5.
Yep.
They got 0 good players in the draft.
So that's an interesting one. And Jake, that was high on my list of worst draft classes. But for me, the worst draft class because of the period of Eagles history we were in
Yeah.
is the 2014 draft.
Hit me. Who
Marcus
was in here?
Smith,
I know the
Marcus
first
Smith, number
rounder.
one.
Yeah.
Jordan Matthews, second round.
Okay, that's pretty bad.
Pretty bad. Mid-career, second
Yeah.
round. Josh Huff, another
Pretty bad.
pretty bad. Jalen Watkins, pretty
Oh,
bad.
yeah, really bad.
Taylor Hard,
I don't even know who
bad.
that is. Yeah.
Ed Reynolds, and the only
Don't
one
know.
that panned out in any way at all, or at least contributed, was Bo Allen with a 7th round pick.
Which is hilarious because they took him in the 7th round.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. You might have beaten me. You have a real shot at that.
I know.
Because I mean, Marcus Smith at 1 is way worse than Dillard at 1.
It is. But Jordan Matthews, too, he was supposed to be like, he became the guy for a time, but it was very, very short. It was a very, very short amount of time.
Yeah.
That 2015 season was his best season, and he never was the same again.
And I would argue that Miles Sanders had a better time with the Eagles than Matthews did.
I agree.
So I think you beat me on that one. Hats off to you because that's a pretty bad draft.
Yeah.
And there were more players. They had a better chance to hit, and they still did.
They did.
Yeah.
Okay, this one to me, you want to start with your best draft class here?
I had a tough time with this, actually.
It's tough, yeah.
I was between like 3.
Okay.
I settled on 2022, and it might be unfair, but I settled for it because of what we did with the draft picks.
Okay.
Which is, so we took Jordan Davis.
Yeah.
We took Cam Jurgens.
Right.
We took Nakobe Dean.
Yeah.
Kyron Johnson, whatever. But we took Grant Calcaterra, who's a really solid backup for us. Notice all those guys played big roles in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But the real reason I picked it is because Howie finally got out of his way, stopped trying to draft wide receivers, and just traded for A.J. Brown.
Yep.
And I think that it was like almost what got his moxie back. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like, before that, we were kind of like, Howie's an average to below average drafter. And after that one, I think I was not alone in saying, guys, I think he did really well here, particularly with that Nakobe Dean pick at 3.
Yeah.
I know he had some injuries and stuff, but like for the output he gave us, for a 3rd rounder, I mean, hard to fault the 2022 draft.
Absolutely. I didn't really factor in the draft day trades into my calculations, but if I had, I think I would have maybe gone this direction. I just went with this draft class because all the names on this list I know were contributors in some way and contributors to a lot of success for the Eagles. My best draft class is the 2018 draft class. Dallas Goedert, number 1. Avonte Maddox, number 2. Josh Sweat, number 3. Matt Pryor, and Jordan Mailata.
That's solid.
You can't sleep on anybody there, Matt Pryor aside. But what you got in Mailata, maybe one of the biggest Eagles pulls ever.
Yeah, you might have won that one too, just because of, like, again, you saw how highly I ranked the Mailata pick. Yeah. That's like other than Tom Brady, or like, one of the best late round picks of all time.
Yeah.
And that's not to mention all those other great names. Isn't it interesting how 2018 was so good and then 2019 was so bad? So bad. It's the same, probably the same guys, right? Like, I can't imagine how much turnover they would have had in the front office in 1 year.
No, it just goes to show that sometimes I don't know. It's really truly the luck of the draw.
Yeah, it's a gamble. I mean, you are betting on guys that, like, in college, they're the big fish in the small pond. Right. And then they become very, very small fish in a very, very big pond. And it's like, how are they going to cope with that when, like, if I'm trying to think of a guy like Miles Sanders was the best everywhere he played, including college.
Yeah.
Succeeded Saquon Barkley. Like, he was the guy every time. And then, it's the NFL. Guess what? You're not the guy anymore.
Right.
Like, that's hard
That's true for everybody here. Yeah, it's true for most of these players.
Right. And so I feel like it's not the athletic talents that it's really between the ears. Yeah. And I think what determines a good draft pick from a bad draft pick is just mental. And, I know there's personality tests and all this stuff, but like how far inside of someone's head can you really get, at the end of the day?
Yeah. I think this draft class too stands out to me because it was a time where the Eagles really needed to reload after Super Bowl victory. Mm-hmm. And these guys are guys that ended up winning a Super Bowl, all of them, with this team eventually.
Yeah.
So that set the stage for what became the core of the offense and defense moving forward. Josh Sweat, you can't underestimate and understate the importance of his role here when he was here. Jordan Mailata, it's just maybe the best pick of the last 2 decades here. Avonte Maddox was a very, very good slot corner for a long time and made a good play in the Super Bowl when he was backing up the rookie. I mean, and then Dallas Goedert, top 3 best tight ends, might go down number 2, number 1 in Eagles history very shortly. I think it's hard to argue with that class too. But 2022, I get why you went that way too, because that set the stage for, that was the true moment that everything shifted.
Right. It is interesting how they were both pretty recent too. Like both the best and the worst. So we've always said it's a roller coaster with these teams. It sure is.
It's always roller coaster. So we're gonna continue on the roller coaster ride with the Phillies and with the Eagles. The draft just days away now. We're excited to see, and then eventually rank, Jake, how the Eagles did. We will have our early reactions, and then only time will tell how these actually shake out.
Right. And it might take a long time. Especially considering, we're in terms of, are we going to draft tackle? Because if we go tackle round 1 or round 2, they're not playing this year. Hopefully, I mean, knock on wood that Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata stay healthy. So, but we'll have to see. And we will be back with you for all the draft action, the Phillies reaction, for the love of Broad Street.